Congresswoman Stefanik, I said you've been having a conversation with the American people. You're in the nomenclature with some of the things going on, some of the ideas that could make it better. Please expound.
Well, first of all, I'm a new mom. I am the proud mom of my 9-month-old Sam. He is formula fed, so there is nothing more harrowing than a parent desperately trying to find the right formula to feed their babies and then finding shelves empty. But what's really disappointing is, yet again, you have the President of the United States and Democrats attempting to pass the buck. They weren't paying any attention to this issue. They dismissed this issue with laughter just 1 week ago, Harris. They had no plan. It was Republicans, and I was proud to lead this, that in February, we demanded from the FDA accountability and a plan to address the supply issue when the decision was made to shut down the plant in Sturgis, Michigan. Do you know how long it took for the FDA to respond? They didn't respond to me until last week, mid-May, because I blasted them from the Capitol steps that this was a crisis for families across the country. Joe Biden was forced to change his schedule to get on the phone with formula manufacturers because House Republicans had a press conference on this. So Democrats have been asleep at the switch. Nancy Pelosi is, again, trying to point fingers, but it's the FDA. She's talking about criminal indictments on the manufacturing formula makers. I think this is going to be a huge government controversy, and there must be accountability on the failures of the FDA. This is Joe Biden's fault and their incompetence.
You know, we took your news conference with all of your Republican people in the House, and I don't know if there was a senator there or not, or if it was all House, but whatever it was within minutes that we heard from the White House that he'd be having that virtual call, to be announced exactly what time. So to spend $28 million on the shortage right now, from what we learned from Congresswoman Kamek earlier this week, we had $130 million in the federal food fund, right, through FEMA for emergencies and whatnot, that went to busing and flying around illegals from the border. So 28 million versus the 130 that they might have had their hands on for emergency. And it is an emergency. All right, we'll move on. A Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas with some words for would-be illegal immigrants during a visit to the southern border. Let's watch.
Do not place your lives in the hands of individuals who only seek to exploit your lives. We are building safe, orderly, and humane pathways to access the benefits that the law provides. But traveling from one country to another in the hands of smugglers is not the way to achieve relief.
Congresswoman Stefanik.
Secretary Mayorkas, they have no operational control over the border, and what's very concerning about what he said is the way to stop this humanitarian crisis and security crisis at our southern border is to secure the border. This is the reason why the American people are so frustrated with the absolute failure and dereliction of duty, not only of Secretary Mayorkas at the Department of Homeland Security, but of Joe Biden, the President of the United States, who has yet to ever visit the southern border in his entire career in public service, which is longer than I've been alive. I've been to the border. I went a few weeks ago to Eagle Pass, Texas. This is, as I said, a horrific humanitarian crisis. Our border is wide open, and it impacts every state and community across America. I represent Border Patrol officers in northern New York who are stationed on the U.S.-Canadian border who have been transferred over and over and over again. Meanwhile, we see fentanyl flowing freely across our southern border into communities across the country, leading to fentanyl overdoses being the leading cause of death for adults 18 to 45. Mayorkas is not doing his job. The president is not doing his job. House Republicans are going to run on securing the border. We are going to immediately put legislation on the floor of the House to secure the border and return to the effective Trump policies.
Wow, you brought information that at least I didn't know, that they were taking resources from one border to put them down at another border. And you know, people who don't like us might be watching that sort of thing. Wow. Congresswoman Stefanik, thank you so very much for being in focus. Great to have you.